Please subscribe my channel. I was standing barefoot in a hotel hallway when my phone buzzed. There was still salt on my skin from the beach, and a cold drink was dripping in my hand. I heard the sound first, the empty echo of my own living room, picked up by a security camera I had forgotten I installed years earlier. Then her laugh broke through. Once everything is moved in, my daughter-in-law said in a bright, casual voice she won't cause a fuss. She's old. She'll just go along with it. Her mother laughed in response. Furniture scraped across the floor, boxes thudded down, and my house seemed to fill with unfamiliar people. I stood there staring at the glowing exit sign and felt something clear and heavy settle in my chest. It wasn't fear or sadness, it was pure clarity. I didn't call anyone. I didn't yell. I simply turned off the video feed and went back to my room. I ordered room service, sat on the balcony watching the ocean, and let the waves remind me how to wait patiently. We weren't always on bad terms. When I first met her, she held my son's hand like it truly meant something to her. She brought a bottle of wine, asked real questions, and told me she admired how independent I was. I remember thinking she actually saw me, a woman who raised a son by herself, paid off her home through sheer determination, and learned to speak with quiet strength. I welcomed her because my son loved her and because I believed love would keep everyone's boundaries safe. I let them stay with me while their place was being renovated, and later again when their rent went up too high. They were small favors, short-term stays. But she learned the house quicker than anyone. She figured out where the cameras were hidden, which doors stuck, and which neighbors kept to themselves. I mistook her comfort for respect. The warning signs were there all along. The way she spoke about the space as if it already belonged to her, mail arriving with strange names, the way my son wouldn't meet my eyes when I mentioned my upcoming trip. I noticed everything. I kept track. I still smiled. The real proof came quietly, not from the cameras, those were just the final blow, but from the papers. A change of address form half completed on my desk. A text meant for someone else that appeared on the family tablet. Once she's gone, we can really settle in. I felt the hurt spread deep inside, but I didn't react right away. I planned instead. I added 3 extra days to my vacation. From a lounge chair by the pool, I called my lawyer and asked questions as if I were just curious, not worried. I pulled up property records, changed access codes, froze any accounts linked to my address. I scheduled a locksmith and a full security system upgrade. I emailed the homeowners association about unauthorized people living there. I saved the camera footage in a private folder and named it Receipts. Then I booked an early morning flight home. They were in the middle of celebrating when I walked in. My living room smelled like someone else's dinner. There were unfamiliar shoes by the door. Her father was asleep in my favorite chair. Her mother had taken over the guest room. My son stood in the kitchen looking pale, caught between loyalty and reality. She turned when she saw me. For a brief moment, her mask slipped. Then she smiled. "You're back early." I nodded. I missed home. I didn't mention the boxes. I didn't mention her laugh on the video. I let the house speak for itself. At noon, the locksmith showed up. At 12:05, the HOA president knocked on the door. At 12:10, my lawyer's assistant delivered a thick folder of documents. I invited everyone to sit down. I poured glasses of water. Then I pressed play. Her voice filled the room again, without any of its usual charm. The comment about me being old, the plan, the assumption that I'd accept it. Her parents' smiles disappeared first. My son looked like he had been hit from the inside. I stayed calm. I slid the papers across the table. Notices, deadlines, trespass warnings, a clear timeline, and the consequences laid out neatly. "This house isn't a prize," I said. "It's a boundary." She tried to turn things around. Tears. Apologies that sounded more like excuses. She reached for my hand as if we were still close. I stood up before she could touch me. "You thought I wouldn't make a scene," I said quietly. "You were right." That was when it really hit them. Not with yelling, but with the sound of locks being changed, the steady power of legal papers, and neighbors watching as movers took everything back out. Her parents pleaded, not for forgiveness, but for more time. I gave them 1 hour. I'm not cruel. I'm careful. My son stayed after they left. He asked how long I had known. I told him the truth. Long enough to decide to choose myself. Now the house is quiet again. My house. The cameras blink steadily like watchful eyes. I sit in the chair I took back and feel relief fill the space where betrayal used to be. They mistook my quiet strength for weakness. They confused my silence with giving up. I didn't do any of this to hurt them. I did it to remind myself who I am. And I remember perfectly.